Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Sportslook, the sports television program for the high plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and tonight we're going to have guests that, in the words of a Bruce Springsteen song, were born to run. We're going to have Luis Olguin and Marta Pascoa from Greyhound Cross Country. We're going to have Loris Siasape and also Jonathan D'Amata from Greyhound Men's Soccer. I'll finish up with an overtime, but as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. One week ago, Eastern New Mexico University had what I consider to be the greatest day ever in the history of athletics. On October the 4th, the Greyhound women's soccer team playing on the road got a 1-0 victory against Oklahoma Christian. That night, playing at the Greyhound Arena, the Greyhound volleyball squad beat Midwestern State 3-0. That's the first time they've blanked Midwestern since 2004. And the Greyhound men's soccer team, playing their first home match in 3 years, playing the number 8 team in the nation, Midwestern State, got a 1-0 victory. That's a pretty good day. Well, that has been an Eastern recap, so we'll clear this out and we'll bring on our first guest right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and we'd like to bring to the set of Sportslook two guests from Greyhound Men's Soccer. We've got Laura Siasapi, we've got Jonathan D'Amata. Gentlemen, welcome to Sportslook.
Thanks for having us, Doc.
Well, Laura's first question for you. Where are you from originally, and what was the process that got you onto the squad here at Eastern New Mexico?
I was born and raised overseas but in Germany. And I actually got here because I worked with our coach Mizuraka at my former school in Oklahoma, at Oklahoma Panhandle State. So we worked together in my freshman year. And like when he got over here, he basically just asked me if I want to join the program here. And obviously having a chance to play D2 soccer was a good opportunity.
Excellent. Jonathan, I'll ask you the same question. Where are you from, and what was the process that got you here?
I'm from the Big Island of Hawaii. I actually played at a JUCO in Washington State, and I wasn't really planning to play soccer after that. But then he texted me after a few months and asked me if I wanted to be on a new team, and I was like, I saw opportunity, so yeah, I told him.
That's fascinating that you came a lot of time zones one direction to play here, and you came a lot of time zones another direction to play here, and both ended up in Portales. Loris will ask you the question, was soccer, as we call it here in the United States, football, everywhere else in the world, was that always your first love, or did you kind of gradually gravitate towards it?
No, soccer was always, I think you can compare it to like American football here. Like that's just a sport you grew up with in Germany. Like everybody plays it, even if they're talented or not, everybody just does it. And yeah, and my dad also was playing soccer for a pretty long time. So basically, since I can walk, I'm playing.
It was in your culture and in your blood.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jonathan, I'll ask you the same question. Was soccer just one of many sports, or was it always the sport?
It was always the sport. From Hawaii, there's not that much competition. My whole family played soccer, so it was in my blood as well.
Excellent. Well, Loris, interestingly, you started with Coach Mizuraka at Oklahoma Panhandle State in beautiful Goodwell, Oklahoma. What was it about him that got you to Goodwell, Oklahoma in the first place?
I mean, like obviously, if you come overseas, like it's a big, big decision. And when talking to him, it wasn't only soccer, it was also like we got along also on a human basis. So that was pretty important to me. And obviously the fact that he like gave me a lot of trust playing in my freshman year was also a huge point. So that's, I think, how we got along so good.
And for people who didn't get a chance to see Coach Mizuraka's day on Sportslook, you guys had a pretty good year last year.
Yeah, actually, and we got some other guys also on the team who've been with me last year there. So last year was just overall, like we started the season off pretty good and like got into momentum, and that's just something we want to carry on this year.
Yeah, 13-3 last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, well, Jonathan, to get anybody out of Hawaii, I mean, why people would leave Hawaii, because it's the most beautiful spot in
Yeah.
the 50 United States. So, Coach Mizuraki had to be pretty persuasive. What was
Yeah,
it?
he was. He was confident in making a really good team, and my last coach said the same things, felt the same way about me, and just like the team in general. And I thought it would have been exactly because I had a successful season at my JUCO, and I felt like Coach Mizuraka was gonna be a step higher.
Excellent. Loris, for people that may not have had a chance to watch you guys play in person because you haven't exactly had a lot of home matches this year, what position do you play?
I'm a center mid, like I play everywhere in the central positions in the midfield.
Excellent. And Jonathan, will ask you
I
the same.
play a forward or a winger.
And if I were a scout from University of Texas Permian Basin, because that's the team you guys play on Saturday, what do you think the scouting report would be on you, Loris?
Scouting report on me, I would say probably a hard worker. I think that's one of my attributes, and not making too many easy mistakes. I think that's something I try to focus on because especially in that area of the field, it's key to don't lose the ball and stuff. So I think that's something they would probably write on me.
Yeah, you lose the ball in the midfield, bad things can happen. So,
Yeah.
Jonathan will ask you the same question. What position do you play?
I play striker, and I would say that they would tell or they would say I'm quick, I'm good on the ball, I'm shifty, I can make things happen for the team, and don't underestimate him because he's he, even though he's coming off the bench, he can still ball.
You can make it pay.
Mhm.
I, Lawrence, to be completely honest with you, to be completely honest with Jonathan, a lot of people, myself included, looked at the fact that after 3 years of not having men's soccer, we were bringing the program back. A lot of people thought, hey, if we win 2 matches, that'll be a success. Well, you guys have already won 4 matches. So, how do you explain the success you guys are having this year?
Yeah, I think that's maybe also a strength for us that everybody's underestimating us because into every match we basically go in as underdogs, and that's maybe a role which, especially for a first year program, fits us so that we don't have the expectations of winning every game, but obviously us as a team we try to.
Well, Jonathan, I'll ask you the same question. What do you think explains the overachieving that you guys have had so far?
We're just hungry. Being a new team is tough, and every team we play is like they're thinking we're not gonna do anything. It's an easy game, but we're always hungry. We're always motivated to be the best and improve, beat any team out there.
Excellent. Loris, I had the privilege of actually being the broadcaster for your first home match, which was last week against Midwestern State. Lone Star Conference says that every broadcast should be broadcast. And so I got to see your match where you guys took on the number 8 team in the nation, Midwestern State, and you got the 1-0 victory. How did that happen? How were you able to beat the number 8 team in the nation that day?
How? I think by fighting, and that's just something we have to always put our minds to, that like no matter who the opponent is, we can beat them if we fight. And I think that was something they didn't expect probably, because obviously they also didn't have the best season start to the season. So they came in here probably thinking that, yeah, all right, we just run over them. And obviously we also had a point to prove from our first conference game we had.
Well, Jonathan, I'll ask you the same question. What are your memories? What were your takeaways of that victory against Midwestern?
It was exciting. They were slacking. We got them on their heels. I came off the bench in like maybe the 15th, and they didn't know I was gonna or we were gonna do that great. And once I got the ball, I made something happen. They underestimated me because their backline was really tall. They were really good too, but
Nope, that was an exciting moment that led up to one of your fellow Germans, Ben Starlander, I believe the young man's name, that got the shot on goal. And just it was a tremendous effort because, like you said, Jonathan, they were a good team.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
they
a really
had
good team.
really good players, but if you've got a group that plays together as a unit, you can beat
Yeah.
superior talent. So, Loris, you are obviously an athlete here at Eastern New Mexico University, but you're a student athlete. And what are you majoring in here?
I'm majoring in business administration with an emphasis in marketing.
And do you hope to someday open your own business, or do you want to work for a large corporation?
Yeah, back home I already did some internships, and I would like to stay somehow in the world of sports, like and combine that with marketing somehow. That would be a dream job.
Excellent. Jonathan, I asked you the same question. What are you majoring in, and what do you hope to do?
I'm majoring in engineering, electrical engineering. That was my second option, but they didn't have civil engineering. But I'm hoping to go back home and work for like be an electrician. But before that, I'm hoping to play pro as well. So
Excellent. Loris, I'll ask you that question. Do you have ambitions to play beyond your days here at Eastern?
Yeah, obviously I think everybody should. Like that's also, I mean, I can speak for a lot of European guys. They come over because like it's still a dream, like it's still a dream up for grabs. Because like back home, it's not that easy to play after you're 18 years old at a high level, and yeah, college soccer just gives you the chance to do that.
And talk a little bit about your relationship with Coach Mizrak. Obviously, you had a relationship coming into this year. So, what if you had to kind of sum up Coach Mizrak in a sentence? What would you say about him as a coach?
I think he's somebody who's very resulted based. Like he wants us to get results, and also, and like he's not easy on us, even though we're a first year program. Like he still expects us to go out there and like games like Midwestern. That's something he expects from us. But I feel like his big strength is that he can build relationships with players. Um, and obviously, it's not always easy. But I think if you give it time, there's always like something beyond the soccer pitch, and that was beneficial for me not only on the pitch to have him, but also off the pitch.
And Jonathan, if you could sum Coach up in a sentence.
he's that's a tough question. He has high standards, really high standards, and that just makes all of us reach for those. And he has high expectations, and he's good all around.
Excellent.
Great person.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations on the success that you've had so far, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having us.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment. So we'll clear the set and we'll bring in our second set of guests right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and we bring to the set of Sportslook two individuals from Greyhound Cross Country. We've got Luis Olguin, we've got Marta Pasco, and welcome to Sportslook.
Thank you for having us.
Good to be here.
Well, Luis, we'll start out with you. Where are you from, and what was the process that got you onto the cross country team here at Eastern?
I'm actually from El Paso, Texas. I recently got married to somebody in the military, which brings us here to Cannon Air Force Base, as you know, is not too far away, 15 miles away from here, which I thought, I mean, if I'm going to be living at home with my spouse, I need to find a way to finish college, right? So running cross country in high school, I always wanted to run in college. And I reached out to Coach Harden to maybe come run for the Greyhounds. And turns out we needed people, so I guess I fit in right into the team.
Well, please thank your wife for her service to our nation. We certainly appreciate the individuals that keep us free. So please pass that along.
Thank you.
Marta, I'll ask you the same question. Where are you from, and what was the process that got you here to Eastern?
I'm actually from Portugal. I'm from overseas. And I ended up getting an email from our old coach, Coach Cavaluna, saying that he would like to bring me in. And I used to run back home, and it's a little bit of a different process. So I thought, why not join college and track and come try it out over here?
Excellent. Well, So two very different stories is how you got here. So Luis, obviously you had to sell yourself to Coach Harden, but you also had to think that this was going to be a good experience. And how has that played out? Has it been the experience you were hoping it would be?
So far, it's been good. I think I've bonded with the coaches, especially with our new grad assistant, who is Coach Jules, who's taking over the cross country program totally. I think she's done a great job. She's shaped me to the person I am today. I mean, I think I will be hitting some great PRs pretty soon, especially in conference right around the corner. She's doing the job of a head cross country coach, which she's actually just a GA, but I think she's pretty good for what she's been doing so far.
Wow. So we are actually breaking news here on Sportslook. I was totally not aware. So who is the young lady?
Her name's Juliet Rios. She's from San Antonio, from what I've understood. She's come from a university in South Dakota, which is, I believe, is a D1. So she's a runner herself. So she's had the experience to run on the course and know what it's like. So I guess her being a closer to our age group is what gets us to actually run better, because she understands what the time's going through right now, and like especially with COVID, like just happened like not too long ago. You know, I mean, it was hard on all of us, especially for her, because she was in college, obviously, but I guess she could relate to us now that we're in college. So I guess that's pretty cool.
Well, Luis, see, Josh seems really young to me. When you're an old guy like I am, everybody seems young. So I can understand that your grad assistant may be a little closer in age than Josh is. Marta, what's been your experience? Is this everything you were hoping college life in the United States would be?
This is totally different. I'm from like a bigger city back home, so this has brought me closer to the people in the community, I guess. But I think Coach Jules has been doing a great job with this, and I feel like this year the program is gonna go to different levels because she really puts the work in, and she really wants us to get better. She's helping us with everything she can. She's going overboard with everything, so it's been amazing so far.
Marta, will stay with you. Most recently, the last meet that the squads competed in was a meet at New Mexico Highlands, and I think it's pretty safe to say you had a pretty good meet up there.
Yeah, we went to Highlands about 3 weeks ago, I believe. Actually, last week we ran in Midwestern. That's where our conference race is going to be. So we went there and we checked out the course. It was a really big course, and everyone hit PRs, at least on the girls' side. And a couple of our guys got a PR too, so it was really, really good.
Well, I apologize because last time I checked the website, I didn't see a result. So, but okay, so very good. And you're being quite modest about the Highlands meet because not only did your team win, but you were the individual champ.
Yes, that was my first cross-country team win and my first cross-country individual win. But I think this week I got third overall, and it was a way bigger meet. It was a PR. It was way more satisfying to see me and the team doing good in a big place than a little smaller race where, you know, it feels a little more like home.
I understand completely, and that's something that quite often when I ask individuals that are guests on sports, like what's the high point of the season, sometimes they'll point to maybe not even a win, but up against really good competition. So I totally get that. Luis, what's been the high point of the season for you personally? What do you think the high point of the season has been for the men's side of it?
I mean, as of yet, I don't think we've all ran like a great race, I could say. I mean, we are short one guy. We can't really qualify as a team as of yet. But so far, we've had some great PRs, especially for my buddy Ricky, who's been running for this team since last year, which I wasn't here last year. He PR'd by a whole minute, and I am super proud of him. Shout out to Ricky, yeah. I think it was great. It was great for me to see that because it really gets me going when somebody PRs on your team, and it's great to see that growth, especially with a new coach who's just starting out like Coach Jules. I think she would be a great head cross country coach in the future. I mean, well, when she gets the title, of course, but so far it's been pretty good.
So is there a chance that you'll get another male performer so that you can field a whole team, or is pretty much the guys that have been running so far all that are going to be running?
As of right now, it looks like it's just going to be us four. So it probably will be individuals, hopefully, to make it to regionals. But I mean, we're working with what we got. We're working as a team, but we'll make it work.
Is there any chance that somebody who's watching this could say, "Hey, I'm an Eastern student. My grades are okay"?
I mean, we're open to possibly find somebody who ran cross country in high school with decent times. I mean, if there's somebody out there, possibly you could come run for us. I mean, we're lacking a guy, and we're still like a month away from conference. I think we can get you into shape to at least get us through as a team to maybe go to regionals.
Well, if I had any eligibility left, because technically I take one class a year where there's a wellness class that faculty members can take. So if I had any eligibility, I would definitely do that.
We'd love to have you on the team.
It would be an honor. Well, Marta, obviously, Greyhound women's cross country has had some significant success in years past, but three really important components of last year's team graduated. So you have become the flag bearer, you've become the leader. And what was that like, assuming the role of, instead of just being one of the runners, to being the runner?
Last year there was probably 6 or 7 of us that were about 15 seconds away from each other. So it always felt like a lot of competition, a lot of pushing each other at practice. And now it has transitioned more to a mental game where I have to push myself. But we have a lot of new girls. Not a lot, but we have some new girls that are pushing themselves and they're trying to do better. And that's like, you want to set an example. So you can't really step back and relax. You got to push yourself. And it's just a mental game at this point.
Excellent. Well, Luis, you are an athlete, obviously, at Eastern New Mexico University, but you're a student athlete. And so let's talk about the student part of it. What are you majoring in and what do you hope to do in life?
Majoring in psychology and minoring in criminology. Hoping to become a forensic psychologist in the future. I mean, I would love to examine crazy people, as crazy as that sounds. I would also, if that falls through, my backup plan would probably be just to become a counselor at a high school, maybe help with mental health, because growing up as a Hispanic student, your parents never really understood what mental health really was. So I guess this is why I joined this field, so I can possibly educate ignorant people like my mom to further educate them in the future.
Unaware, not, that's the way I like to explain things. So I've got to ask you, because I'm actually in the department, it's history, social sciences, and religion. So the CJ people are part of our department, and psychology offices just down the hall. So you've only been here a short amount of time, but what's been your favorite class here?
Honestly, so far, I have liked communications with Dr. Oh my goodness, I forgot his name right now, but he's great. It's a little bit awkward, I guess you could say, because he's trying to get everybody to talk in the class, but most of us are really shy. I think COVID really affected most of us, especially going from in-person class and seeing your friends every day to not seeing them to a year and a half later, but it's been good.
Well, Marta, I'll ask you the same question. What are you majoring in and what do you hope to do with your life?
I'm a business major with the emphasis in management, and I hope one day I can be either a scrum master or an athletic director.
Very good. So do you hope to go back to Portugal? Or
I'm hoping to stay.
Stay in the States. Well, I have to compliment you. Your English is far better than my Portuguese would be. So I'm glad we're able to quote a line from Chris Chakarado movie. I'm glad you understand the words coming out of my mouth. So, Marta, if you were to explain what it is about running, like it can't just be like something that got you across the Atlantic. It's got to be something you plug into. So, how would you explain your love for running?
I feel like running is just letting go of the stuff that you've been going through. I feel like when I'm going through a tough time, I go on a run and everything's just, it feels better. Like the endorphins come up, everything is good. And I feel like it's a mental game on yourself. You push yourself. Of course there's a team aspect to it, but it's an individual sport. And it feels so good to cross that line and know, I did this. This was all on me. I can't, like there's something about it that I just love.
And we will point out that if people actually want to watch the two of you run, you're hosting a cross-country meet on Saturday in
Yes, we
Clovis, New
are.
Mexico. It's going to be at Hillcrest Park, and if I understand, guys run at 8:30 and the women at 9:15.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, good, because I may not look like it now, but I was actually a distance runner in high school, so got to come out there, and I'm going to be there. So wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, that is going to wrap up the interview segment of Sportslook. So what we'll do is we'll clear the set, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. "50 years ago this month, a gentleman by the name of Roberto Clemente played in his final game of the 1972 season with Pittsburgh Pirates. And at the end of the 72 season, his teammates all went home to chill until spring training for the 73 season. But Roberto Clemente, being Roberto Clemente, did not go home to chill. He went out and did good stuff because he was a humanitarian. And one thing he did was when there was a horrifically bad earthquake in Nicaragua, he sprung into action. Now, a lot of celebrities would just raise some money, they'd make a donation. Roberto Clemente gathered up supplies, loaded them into an airplane, and flew down to Nicaragua to hand out the goods in person. Tragically, his plane crashed off the coast of Nicaragua, and Roberto Clemente died at that point in time. But if you've ever wondered why the humanitarian award that Major League Baseball gives annually to the guy that does the most to help out humanity is named the Roberto Clemente Award, now you know. Well, that will wrap up an overtime, and that will wrap up as an episode of Sportslook. I'd like to thank my guests, Luis Olguin and Marta Pascoa from Greyhound Cross Country. I'd also like to thank Laura Siasape and Jonathan D'Amata from Greyhound Soccer. Had a floor crew, once again, led by Mr. Logan. So for those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.